Well, next week, the eyes of the world will be on Japan and the funeral of Japanese Emperor Hirohito. Whatever his final place in history, his credit ledger includes Japan's miraculous post-war recovery and its emergence as an economic colossus. And now, a new technology could add to Japan's wealth. HDTV, high-definition television. Have you heard of it? Well, as you'll see in a moment, it could soon revolutionize television as we know it. The Japanese have been developing this for some time. We haven't. Does their lead mean another blow to our economy? Well, tonight, Lynn Scher explains why American workers could be shut out again.
Quiet for picture, please. Roll tape.
Stand by. Rolling.
Music. Rolling.
Look familiar? They're shooting a commercial, the kind you see on TV. But you've never seen anything like this before.
Cut. That was good.
Because the editing equipment and the video cameras are new inventions to create high-definition video. A technology so new, the only place this commercial is being shown is in Japanese department stores. Is this the sort of thing we want for ourselves?
When people can see high definition in their home, they're going to notice dramatically the difference. And when you look at high definition and you go back to regular television, it's quite disappointing to see regular television once again after you've seen these high definition images.
For years, we've been hearing how one day we'd have large screens at home with life-size, crystal-clear images, far sharper than the big screens currently in use. That kind of television is now here. It is called high-definition television, or HDTV, and it's considered the most dramatic improvement to broadcasting since the addition of color in 1954. The picture is so much brighter and better than anything now being transmitted, it has produced some ardent fans.
When you see high-definition television next to our current system, it blows your mind.
We categorically deny that our colors have exceeded acceptable limits.
This commercial was shot in HDTV. And so was this music video. In this football game, you see more of the action because the picture is 1/3 wider than regular TV. And HDTV's fine detail makes for spectacular special effects. But you probably can't see the difference from where you're sitting. That's because what you're seeing right now here on 2020, like all American television programs, is broadcast in a format called NTSC, which simply can't handle the precision of the new technology. But we should be able to give you a pretty good idea with this comparison. All TV pictures are composed of lines made up of blocks called pixels. NTSC, which is the American standard, uses 525 lines. This HDTV picture is made up of more than twice as many lines, 1,125, which gives the picture a far better resolution. See the difference? But HDTV promises far more than just a better picture. Someone will have to make all those new TV sets, and American manufacturers think this might be the product to win back all those jobs and profits we've lost to Europe and Japan over the years. In 1970, America made 90% of the color TV sets sold in this country. By 1987, American-owned factories made less than 15%. Today, there are no American companies making video cassette recorders. And according to the Commerce Department, of all the consumer electronics purchased in America in 1987, only 20% were made here. How did we get so far behind? It is a shocking story because we started out as the world leaders. Beginning in the 1950s, the U.S. pioneered the development of equipment for use by professional broadcasters. But for years, no one was successful in tapping the home video market. Then, in 1970, Ampex, a company in Redwood City, California, came out with this, the world's first portable home video recorder. Instavision promised to revolutionize the business, and reporters at the introductory press conference were dazzled.
One of the fellows jumped up and ran out the door and said, I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it in my own eyes, and then I knew we had something.
Richard Elkis was the Ampex manager in charge of developing Instavision. Yeah, it's amazing. It looks just like contemporary home video cameras.
Well, it's not too far off. Of course, the weight's a little bit more, but for this time, it was very, very small. Nothing like it of that sort had been seen.
But amazingly, this original product, the first home VCR, was not destined for immediate success. In the face of growing financial problems, Ampex shut down production of anything that demanded cash, including Instavision. Then, since it already was involved in a venture with Toshiba, Ampex sold the rights for their video invention to the Japanese firm in 1972. It was a business deal that's had extraordinary reverberations. In retrospect, did Ampex give away the store?
The result was that they gave it away. They had no intention of giving it away. They didn't expect what happened to happen.
What happened was this. Coupled with an earlier agreement giving Sony the technology to make other recorders Ampex had invented, the Instavision deal allowed Japan to develop and now control the world VCR market. And if this had stayed in the United States?
We'd be a preeminent supplier in a $15 billion market. And much of the world of video would be ours and not somebody else's.
That translates into tens of thousands of jobs for Japanese, not American workers. And guess what the Japanese have been doing about the newest product, HDTV?
Yes, we have been working at it for just a quarter of a century, 25 years.
Norio Kumabe is a vice president with NHK, the Japanese national broadcasting company. Their laboratories have been doing research on HDTV since 1964, and NHK says they will use it for regular broadcasts sometime next year. They're not the only ones. 10 other Japanese companies have already showed off HDTV equipment that American manufacturers haven't even started developing. And the Europeans have come up with their own HDTV system. The big prize for everyone? A staggering $150 billion market that will be created when the new technology is in place. You will have to buy a new TV set if you want to see the new pictures. And broadcasters will have to replace all their cameras and recorders and transmitting equipment. It's a mammoth investment, and not everyone is sure it's worth it. Julius Barnathan of Capital Cities ABC.
There's no question that we all want better pictures. We want better sound. That's why we've gone stereo. That's why everybody wants better. The question is, how much? How much does it cost? How much better is it?
And more pressing, how to get that better picture to your home. The Federal Communications Commission, the agency that regulates the airwaves, is considering at least 18 different HDTV proposals. They will choose one of them to become the standard in this country. The decision is largely technical. The TV signal that goes to your home shares limited space in a broad spectrum of airwaves with signals for radio, police bands, even cellular phones. Because HDTV's better picture requires a wider transmission path, it might infringe upon other users. FCC Commissioner Dennis Patrick.
And so ultimately the debate with respect to HDTV comes down to a series of trade-offs. It might be that the American people are not interested in an absolutely sharp picture if the cost of that picture is $3,500 per television set, and if the cost of that picture is not having enough radio spectrum available for the local police department. Those are trade-offs.
While the FCC decision is at least 2 years away, the networks have so far been willing to wait.
For a station to replace its equipment today to high-definition television, it would take $37 million. So what we're talking about is not inexpensive in terms of equipment.
But cable TV systems deliver their programs on cable, not through the airwaves. So they can convert to the new technology less expensively, and they don't have to wait for an FCC decision. Cable operators claim they're eager to bring HDTV to American viewers as soon as possible.
We could start transmitting in high definition in 6 months. The problem is, at the moment, there are no TV sets for us to transmit into.